Howdy, brothers and sisters out there in YouTube land. This here's Grateful Panic, and I've got another video for you guys today. And today, we're going to be taking a look at the Steel Will Intrigue. So you guys stick around.
Away the dew, roll away the dew, roll away the dew, roll away the dew.
Alright guys, so like I said earlier, we're going to be taking a look at the Steel Will Intrigue. And before we get into that, let's go ahead and get this panic dump out of the way and let you guys take a look at what I was carrying today. And today, in my pocket, I had the Steel Will Tenet, and I had the Great Eastern Cutlery number 78 American Jack, and this is the two-blade version. And of course, the Doc Holliday experiment slip with the Great Eastern Cutlery TC Barlow. And on my belt, well, actually, no, I actually had this guy in my pocket too, the Olight S1R Baton Turbo. And on my belt, again, I had the Bark River Knives Ultralight Bushcrafter and the Buck 110 Light. And as far as what I am drinking on tonight I'm drinking on a little bit of Mama's Little Yellow Pills from Oscar Blues Brewery, and this is a nice crisp Pilsner, really tasty stuff. And that right there means that it's time to get on down to the nitty gritty. And before we get to the meat and taters of this knife here, let's go ahead and get the boring stuff out of the way and get you guys some measurements, materials, and a weight. And what we're looking at is an overall length of 8.5 inches. We've got a blade length of 3 3/4 inches. We've got a cutting edge of 3.5 inches, and we've got a handle length of 4 3/4 inches. Width and thickness wise, we have a handle width at its widest point of 1 inch. We've got a handle thickness of 470 thousandths of an inch, which is just a hair under half an inch. We've got a blade width of 875 thousandths of an inch, which is 15/16, if I am correct. And we have a blade thickness of 120 thousandths of an inch, which is just a little bit shy of 1/8 of an inch. So I mean, we've got a pretty nice slim little knife here with some very decent blade stock, and I mean, it shows in handling this knife, which this is courtesy of a pass around that's put together by David over at Blade Banner. And I want to say thank you to David, because he does some really great stuff. He's a big-time ambassador of the knife community and the YouTube knife community, and he puts together a lot of cool stuff to keep us in knives to review. And I really appreciate that, David. You do a really good thing, and I know all the other guys appreciate you as well. And what we're looking at as far as materials is we've got FRN handle scales. We've got some blackwashed hardware all the way around, a nice blackwashed pocket clip. And this isn't a deep carry pocket clip per se, but there's not a lot of knife showing when you it rides pretty low in your pocket, so there's not a good deal of knife showing when it's sitting in your pocket. We got a fully open construction with some nice black coated stainless standoffs, and if you can see right there, it does not have a lanyard hole, but it's got a little lanyard pin. If you're so inclined to put a lanyard on this guy, you can hook one right there. It is a liner lock, and it's a manual opening flipper, and the action on this guy is pretty stinking snappy. Blade wise, we're looking at a high saber ground blade in D2 blade steel, and it has a nice blackwash finish on it, and I really dig blackwash on blades. Blackwash and stonewash, both of them I think look really good on knife blades, and in my opinion, Steel Will did a really killer job on this blackwash finish. And this blade, this high saber grind, it's almost, I mean, well, you know, it's about, let's say, a little less, maybe 3/16 shy of a full flat grind. And, you know, this is a not a very wide blade. It's a pretty narrow blade. It's very piercy. It's got a really you know, I consider this a drop point blade, but it's, I mean, it's dang near a spear point. I mean, this is a very piercy blade, and with these as thin as it is behind the edge, it's a very slicey blade too. And honestly, I think Steel Will is doing a bang up job with budget knives. I mean, you've got D2 blade steel, you've got stainless steel liners, and these liners are milled out for weight reduction. There's a little spot, and I know you probably can't see it. There's a little spot right here in the back on the clip side that's milled out, and there's 3 good sized spots on the show side that are milled out. And this guy comes in at a whopping 2.92 ounces. So yeah, that's super light for a knife this size. I mean, we've got an 8.5 inch knife with a 3 3/4 inch long blade that weighs less than 3 ounces. And so I think Steel Will did an excellent job at cutting down on the weight, which in my opinion, they do a great job of just about everything when it comes to a good budget knife. And ergonomics wise, I mean, this guy just fits so great in your hand. I mean, it's just very contoured here. You got a nice finger groove, and then it's just a kind of a fat belly here with another cutout in the rear for your ring finger and pinky finger. I mean, it feels absolutely phenomenal in hand. It's very light, very nimble. It's riding on phosphor bronze washers as far as I know. That's what it looks like to me. And like I said, this is a pass around knife, so I'm not going to take it apart. But it looks like phosphor bronze washers, and the action is pretty daggone phenomenal. I mean, it is snappy as all get out. I mean, it's just it's a really satisfying knife to flip. And this flipper tab, kind of a interesting design. It works really well in both methods of deployment. I'll demonstrate the light switch. I mean, it flips right out, and push button, it might flip out even a little bit stronger. But yeah, like I said, this is an excellent budget knife in my opinion. I reviewed the cut jack a while back, and I was very impressed with this, or with it. And then I got this in hand, and I was very, very impressed with it. So I ended up buying a Modus and a Tenet, and the Tenet just happened to come in before the Modus. The Modus hadn't come in yet, but I carried the Tenet today. I just got it in yesterday, and I've been super impressed with it as well. I'm big time impressed with what Steel Will has going on, and also um, it kind of worked out good. A little addition to the Steel Will story is I had a little bit of trouble with the Tenet today. I was gonna, take it apart and clean it out real good with alcohol, and then lube it up myself, just kind of get all the factory gunk and junk out of it, and make it my own. And apparently they had used a little bit of the heavy duty thread locker, and when I went to remove the pivot screw, the Torx portion of it just immediately stripped out. Like as soon as I went to turn it, it started to loosen up, and then it just locked up, and and it stripped out. So I ended up my good buddy Cleet at work ended up milling a little flathead slot, and we were able to get the pivot screw out, and everything's good to go. Um, it works perfectly fine now. But in the meantime, I had emailed customer service, the warranty department at Steel Will, and I've emailed Kershaw's customer service, Cold Steel, CRKT, and the soonest response I had got from any of those guys, I think, was Kershaw, and it was like maybe 3 or 4 days. I emailed Steel Will around lunchtime today, and I think by 2:30, maybe 3 o'clock, I'd already gotten a response from them. And I mean, it was just, the interaction with them was like smooth as silk. They basically said, okay, we'll provide you with the pivot screw free of charge, no problem. All we do is we charge $2 shipping to mail that to you. They sent me the PayPal link, um, sent them the $2, and they confirmed that the hardware was being sent out to me immediately. So I thought that was really, really amazing as far as customer service goes with these guys, and that's a big thing with me. Um, I cannot stress enough how important good customer service is with knife companies. And I've had some bad experiences before, but this was definitely a good experience. So in my book, these guys are aces, and this knife is absolutely amazing. So of course it gets the Grateful Panic seal of approval, which, as we all know, is 1 3/4 thumbs up. So yeah, I highly recommend this knife. And this is actually a new blade finish for this year, so I will have to look and see if they're actually selling this blade finish. But I know the satin finish blade is readily available, and I think it goes for around $42. And in my opinion, $42 for this knife is an absolute steal. Uh, great bang for the buck. So yeah, I definitely recommend, if you guys do not have Steel Will Intrigue, and you're a fan of this blade shape and this knife style, definitely go out and pick it up, because I have nothing but good things to say about this knife. So oh, and I need to mention, I did not specify how long the 300 subscriber thank you giveaway is going on when I put it out yesterday, but we're going to let it run for a full week. So the drawing will be this coming Monday, probably sometime in Monday evening. So you guys be looking forward to that. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all your likes, your comments, your subscription. I appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, guys, this is Grateful Panic signing off. And remember, guys, stay alert, stay alive, and hey, how about do something nice for somebody today? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.